This video is called Decimal Operations and Equations with Decimals. Let's start with a story. Wyatt is an amazing baseball player for the SPA school team. This year, he has been up to bat 692 times. For the season, his batting average was 350 thousandths. How many hits did Wyatt have over the season? To figure that out, we're going to take his batting average, and that will be equal to the number of hits over his number of times at bat. Well, we know his batting average was 0.350 thousandths. We don't know his number of hits, so we're going to use the variable h for that. And we know that he was up to bat 692 times. Let's use one of our transformation principles. Our variable is h. We want to figure out how we can undo dividing h by 692. Well, the inverse operation for division is multiplication. So I'm going to multiply 692 by both sides of this equation. Now this is very similar to what you did in the last lesson. The only difference is that now you're dealing with decimals. Remember, when multiplying decimals, you do not have to line up the decimals. But you do need to pay attention to how many decimal places there are in the problem. There's 0 in this part of the problem and 3 in that one. So our answer is going to need to have 3 decimal places when we're done. So let's do our multiplication. 0 times 2 is 0. 5 times 2 is 10, carry my 1. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. Alright, now we're going to multiply the tens place. 0 times 9 is 0. 5 times 9 is 45. I'm going to carry my 4. 3 times 9 is 27, plus 4 would give me 31. Okay, now we're going to multiply in the hundreds place, so I want to start in the hundreds place. 0 times 6 is 0. 5 times 6 is 30. I'm going to carry my 3. 3 times 6 is 18, plus 3 is 21. It's important to line these up well. So I've got 0, 0, 12, 2, 4, 2. And remember, my answer has to be 3 decimal places. So 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to put it here. So 242.2, well, he can't really have 0.2 hits. So we're going to say that he had 242 hits for the season. Awesome job, Wyatt. Now, let's apply this to a couple of expressions. Let's say we want to simplify this expression. Well, what's the first step? DPS it. Alright. We have 2.6x plus a negative 7.1x. Remember, we're going to take the coefficients and we're going to add them. One's negative, one's positive. So I'm going to take 7.1. And now, because I'm doing addition or subtraction, I need to line up my decimals, unlike the multiplication problem that we did. I'm going to have to borrow from the 7, because you can't subtract 6 from 1. 6 from 11 is 5. Don't forget to line up your decimal. 2 from 6 is 4. The larger number was negative, so my answer is 4.5, and don't forget your variable x. So a negative 4.5x would be this expression simplified. Let's look at another one. Right? Notice the operations you have present. We have multiplication and we have addition. Well, order of operations says I need to multiply first. But I have a variable in here. So I'm going to use the left distributive principle for multiplication across addition. Oops. Left distributive principle for multiplication across addition. Alright, so I'm going to have negative 3.5 times 4a plus negative 3.5 times 1.9. It's important to show this step when you're using decimals. Then you can do your work. So I'm going to take negative 3.5 and I'm going to multiply it by 4. I don't have to line up the decimals because I'm doing multiplication, not addition or subtraction. I know my answer is going to be negative because I have one negative and one positive. I have one decimal place in my problem, so I'm going to have one decimal place in my answer. So 5 times 4 is 20, carrying my 2. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 2 is 14. I need one decimal place, goes here. So my answer would be, for this part, negative 14a. And I'm going to put this right here. Now I need to add to that the answer to this multiplication. Negative 3.5 times 1.9. Multiplying these. One's negative, one's positive, so my answer is going to be negative. I have 2 decimal places total in the problem, so my answer is going to have 2 decimal places. So let's multiply this out. 5 times 9 is 45, carry my 4. 3 times 9 is 27, plus 4 is 31. Now I'm multiplying the tens place, so I've got to start there. 5 times 1 is 5, 3 times 1 is 3. I have 5, 6, 6. I need 2 decimal places, so my decimal is going to go here. I have a negative and a positive, so my answer needs to be negative. So I'm going to add to this negative 6.65. These are not like terms. They don't have the same variable parts. So this would be my final solution, or simplification. Here's another example. Here we have multiplication, subtraction, and addition. Right? So we have multiplication across subtraction. So let's start by DPSing this. So we DPSed it. Right, I added the opposite. Now I'm going to distribute 8/10 across my parentheses. So I have 0.8 times 3 plus 0.8 or 8/10 times negative 11n. Put that in parentheses so I can see it's negative, plus 1.4 or 1 4/10 n. Let's do my multiplication. 0.8 times 3. I have one decimal place, so my answer is going to have one decimal place. They're both positive, so I don't need to worry about a sign. 8 times 3 is 24. I need one decimal place, so I'm left with 2.4. Plus, I need to multiply these. 0.8 times negative 11. I have one decimal place. I'm going to have 1 in my answer. 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 1 is 8. I'm left with 88. It's negative because I have a negative and a positive I'm multiplying. I had one decimal place, so my answer has to have one decimal place. So Multiplying these two would give me negative 8.8. And then don't forget the variable n, because it's plus, don't forget about this last part of the problem, 1.4n. So now I've done the two multiplications that I needed to do. Now, can I simplify this expression any further? Are there any like terms? Well, these have similar variable parts, so I'm going to use hookup lines to show this. 2.4 plus negative 8.8 plus a positive 1.4 means I'm going to have to subtract. 4 from 8 is 4. 1 from 8 is 7. 8.8 was larger, so I end up with plus negative 7.4n. And that would be my simplified expression. Here are another set of 6 problems for you to practice for homework. And this is the end of the video on decimal operations and equations.